What is up, everybody? Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Mythic Plus. Today we are going to continue our series just going over Mythic Plus routes and just talking about routes that I actually use in pug runs to time keys. So this is going to be a very, very familiar route. I'm sure people have seen this before, but we're just going to go over why it actually works, things you're looking to avoid at various stages of the dungeon, and go from there. So let's zoom in on this first part right here. We're going to enter the dungeon right here. We're going to hug the left-hand side as we go in, so we don't need to pull any of these off-duty laborers. We're going to snake around over onto the left-hand side. And if you don't have a priest, these hired assassins will actually be in a position where you can pull them. So you need to either wait at least like a 5 count, 4 count, something like that. Just count to 5 in your head, and then you're usually good to jump off the awning and get the pull together. If you have a priest, you don't need to wait quite as long, but if you body pull these, this is going to make this whole pull much, much more difficult. So make sure that you let these guys pat. As you can see, there's their patrol line. You can see that they're going to run all the way down over here. But this first pull, it's going to be a bit challenging just because we have the 4 refreshment vendors involved and then also a hired assassin. The jockey is not going to do anything because he's not even close to a mech, so he's not going to run away or anything like that. Just pull them over to these rowdy revelers in the corner onto the dance floor and just pop everything. Pop Lust, pop Beam if you have a balanced druid, silent sigil stops, anything like that. This pull usually goes down pretty quick in pug groups. A lot of people are very familiar with it, but the refreshment vendors need to be stopped. The only thing that you really will kind of 100% wipe to on this pull is either the refreshment vendor stunning your healer, something like that, or this poison blades from the hired assassin goes off. That is number 1 kick priority. No questions asked. Someone needs to be kicking that. That is just, it's fundamental. Do not let that go off. The other thing, fan of knives, save a stop for that. You can paralyze, you can stun, you can blind, you can, knock up, knock back, anything. Literally anything. Just make sure that both of these hired assassin casts do not go off. Once they use both of them, they typically don't get a chance to use them again. So as long as you get that, you're all good. We're going to go over to this side. We're going to jump over this wall. There's a couple boxes over here if you haven't done this before. You'll jump on the boxes, hug up against the wall, and then kind of jump straight up and just do a little tap forward. Don't jump forward because it won't work. You have to jump straight up and then forward. And that will work. Go over this wall, skirt around this side over here. You'll end up over on this side. You'll wait for this to pat back. As you can see, he'll pat forward and back. We'll wait for him to pat over to this direction, and we'll just go right by. This pull, very, very easy, but try and pull. Some people like to pull this, I guess, in this little middle area here. You feel a little bit safer, but it's a really good place to body pull other stuff. So if you can, maybe let the first mechanized peacekeeper, like AoE, go out and start trying to move into the room. You have a ton of space, and you also need to trigger RP. So try and move into the room. You have a lot of space to work with, and you don't have to worry about pulling out any of these other mobs. You can just focus on killing the assassin and just living. And again, making sure that we stop this assassin. You don't want to be dealing with any of that. So pull into the room instead of out of it, and then the mech jockey also will not be near any of these other mechanized peacekeepers or anything like that, so he's not going to do anything. This pull is absolutely dead. It's basically the same thing as the first pull, just with the peacekeeper that's going to hit the tank like a truck. If you're a paladin or something like that, if you have an immunity, you can actually use like bubble, and your raid will not take, or your group will not take any damage from the charged shield. I believe Blessing of Spell Warding also works. So if you're like a paladin healer or something like that, or if you're a paladin tank, you can spell warding yourself, and you will be able to save your group from a lot of AoE damage. Going into the boss, we're not going to do anything fancy here. We're not going to grab these 2 sappers here. I know a lot of higher level groups have been pulling this third pull before the boss and then getting a couple sappers into it, but we don't really need to do that. Do the boss, do it regular, no big deal. This next pull up, we are going to do something a little bit bigger. But the general rule in this area is just to pull as few of these Azerite extractors as you possibly can. If you've been doing more count in this specific area or something like that, and you're having a lot of difficulty with it, or it's costing you a lot of time, or you're noticing that there's a lot of deaths, definitely try and scale back in this area. This is like the #1 pug killing mechanic for some reason. These swirlies on the ground that come out, they spawn under players, so you can kill people with them. You can run them over other people. It's just bad. So just relax, chill out in this area. There's a limited amount of space. You're not trying to body pull. So if you're able to even like, I don't know, like you can pull this over here and then keep all this space free. Like just make sure that you're being economical with your space. Watch your feet, and then any stops that you can to help these Earth Shapers be kicked. Everything else should be pretty chill in this pull. You should be able to stop these Earth Shapers. They don't have that much HP, so yeah, just make sure that you're doing that, and it should be okay. The Azurite Extractor is really the only guaranteed damage that goes out in this pull. So the Earth Shapers, like the Sappers, all that sort of stuff, not going to be very important with this pull. So just be careful, watch your feet, should be easy peasy. This next pull, same sort of deal, stops in the Earth Shapers. The Extractor is going to do its thing, and if you're just doing this pull, it's always safe to do the Stone Fury with it. It adds another kick into it, but you don't need to interrupt the barrier on these Stone Furies. It's not worth interrupting. It's a very, very small shield. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Save your kicks for their actual Earthquake cast. So they'll do a shield and then they'll do an Earthquake. I believe they alternate between the two. So just make sure that doesn't go off, and then kick any of these Earth Shapers that you can. They'll use those bolts that will do some pretty healthy damage. Yeah, but other than that, the Azurite Extractor is really the only damage that is guaranteed in this pull that is actually going to do some work to you. So do that, and then you'll go into this next pull. Again, kind of the same sort of deal as the pull before it. We'll have these 2 Earth Shapers, and then we'll have just another Stone Fury. So not too hard of a pull. I know some people will lust here or something like that. If it's up, if you're going slower, you'll have lust for this pull. Ordinarily, you want to not have lust on this pull. If you're going fast enough, this is a good way of just baseline feeling out if you're going fast enough. Because if you lust on this first pull over here, then you should have lust coming up right as you get to this last boss right here. So I definitely did mess that up. So, but yeah, you'll want to lust on Azurok. Just blast him, get a lot of good cleave damage. And make sure that you are focusing the Earth Rager that's empowered. That does a lot of healing damage, so things your healer has to worry about. This is the area that I would recommend doing probably more of your trash in. This is the area I feel safest, at least. I know some higher level groups have done a little bit more in this first area, like they pull this Peacekeeper, or they'll pull these Sappers, or they'll do something funky in this area. Personally, I like this last area, in Pugs especially, just because there's not that many things that will kill you. In my opinion, at least. I'm sure some people out there are going to disagree with me, but that's okay. This is where I have a lot of success. So we'll get these alchemists here. Just 3 alchemists on the first pull. You're coming down from a boss. You just want to make sure to take things a little bit easier. There's going to be this pull over to the side, and we'll just get these alchemist kicks. Everything else should go down pretty easily as long as they don't get the transmute off. You're all good. Even if they do get a transmute off, you still have a dispel. You can dispel it off of people. Very, very simple pull. The next pulls, we're just going to follow the rule. No more than like 3, maybe 4 alchemists. We do 4 alchemists here, but again, hasn't really been an issue. 3 alchemists is kickable, and like I mentioned before, if one of those does go off, you can always just dispel it. So very, very easy thing for a pug group to do. Something you want to try and avoid is doing this pull if you can. So there's other routes that will skip this. You can VDH, Shadow Meld skip or something like that. You can skip this and do some extra count somewhere else. We've even done this pull over here if we want to skip that. But yeah, just keeping in mind that you don't want to do too many of these weapon testers in a pull. So this is kind of an older route, I guess, but very, very doable, especially in pugs lower than like 12, something like that. None of these pulls should kill you. Once you get to like the 14, 15 sort of area, probably don't do a 3rd weapon tester with this pull. Find somewhere else to get count, just because more than 2 weapon testers can get a little bit sketchy. So yeah, we'll do this last pull right here. We'll do the masterminds. I like to tank them on one side of this, have everyone kind of stack up. When all the tornadoes come out, you just move to the other side. When the tornadoes come out, you move to the other side. The tornadoes should be gone. So they only last about as long as until the next cast comes in. So that's always kind of nice to know. We'll do the third boss here. And this place, let's be honest, it's always kind of a cluster. So don't go too crazy with this. Just make sure that you're getting all these mines, clearing those up. And then if you have a coordinated group, have everyone stand back here towards where pole 14 is, and the tank can go forward, pull all these mines, get as many of them as you want. They should all focus on the tank as well if you do it that way. So you can just drag them all down the side of this ridge over here. They should all be fixated on the tank. Everyone just cleaves them down. Easy peasy. And then the end of this dungeon, just do pull 16 and the final boss. You can lust either one. I personally don't think you need lust on the last boss. I don't think it's really worth it. So if it's a hierarchy or something like that, I would definitely recommend either skipping these war machines. You can VDH meld skip. You can like pull them over here. I have everyone run by on the right hand side. This will be right hand side. It's the left hand side here. But have the VDH double jump and shadow meld. You could do that. But if you're gonna do these, just pop lust on them. It's a very good way to die late in the key. So just be careful. So yeah, I mean, that wasn't like a crazy route, but that's just the route that I use, and it's worked in a lot of Pug keys. I think the highest key that I've done with this route with is like a 14, something like that. Or like a close 15. I think we wiped like in this area or something like that on the 15 that I tried. But yeah, this should work for pretty much any key level. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more content, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.